Mr. Hartley, briefly.
Thank you. First of all, Dr. Heather Dene is a member of the ZAP board. She has brought in millions of dollars in grants to Jackson State and other community organizations. So her credentials are solid for going after money.
I just asked for to just provide a memo, Mr. Hartley.
Okay, and the second thing is, from what I'm being told, if it closed down today, that doesn't mean an immediate savings.
No.
It takes time to make all the moves and the transfer and to work out agreements and so forth. So there, to me, I don't think that amount of money will be available right away. So I'm asking my colleagues to consider that we want to move forward. We want to have a better operating plan, better coordinations, better support, and get better at getting more outside money for the zoo. Thank you, Mr. President.
Yeah, and let me say this. The plan that was presented by Dr. Blaine, which I pushed back against.
There was no plan to close the zoo by Dr.
It was a plan that he had to shutter the zoo.
No, his plan was with Ocean.
Zoo Oceanarium.
Zoo
Talking about
Oceanarium.
before Zoo Oceanarium.
No. We went through all of our plans. He did not have a plan to shut the zoo. He may have had estimates of cost and all of those. No,
we were to shutter the zoo. I went back and looked at the email. If we were to shutter the zoo, this is what it would cost. That's what I'm talking in reference to.
And that would have been a
$572,000 according to what he gave us.
Yeah, that would have been a rough estimate that has not been validated or supported by not only present day costs, but also by the process of what the transition of working with other zoos. One of the reasons, it's not just a decision to move animals, it's finding zoos or sanctuaries that have the space. The reason we don't have a lion is not because there aren't lions in the market, right? The reason that we don't have a lion is because we haven't invested about $2 million that it takes to do the enclosure and purchase the lion. And so you would be looking in the market to see if other zoos are in a better position than we are. Some may be, but for the collection that we have, to shutter an entire zoo and find homes for each one of those animals, you likely don't have one or two zoos that are capable of doing it. And so that would further complicate the process of trying to locate a large number of zoos that not only have the space, but have the proper housing for those animals.
All right, Dr. Dunbar.
Okay, and I just wanted to talk about when we inherited the zoo. There was no $1 to $2 million pocket there from Friends of the Zoo with all of these donations. When we inherited the zoo, they were at a deficit. And a lot of money had been diverted into a plan to move the zoo. So I also want to make this statement that most zoos are in urban areas. And because of the historical nature of movement in cities, most zoos are in areas that have traditionally been underinvested in. And we have seen several cities revitalized through investing in their zoos and the areas surrounding those zoos. So I hear you when you say $1.6 million is worth a conversation.
It is.
But it is a conversation that should be had when we have the time to rationally go through all of the implications of an action. We should not just have a knee jerk and say $1.6 million, oh, let's close that. And I also think it's a discussion that should be had with that community. And we should also think about, wouldn't it be radical instead of talking about just closing it, but figuring out how we can make it work?
Use the word progressive.
It has been traditionally underinvested in. Wouldn't it be great if we came up with a plan for how we invest and revitalize.
So, Dr. Omari, I agree, especially if we would have been having the conversations throughout the year. We just found out. And we got an adopted budget, and we still got to find $2 million for insurance. So I'm just saying, finding out stuff at the last minute when we could have been having conversations all the way along, a long time, could have helped us all be.
What do you
I
mean?
don't know what you just found out.
We just
We've been
found out
talking
that
all along about the deficit that was going to take.
we didn't know it
place.
was well, I'm not going to take a roll call about. We didn't know it was $55,000 out of 1.8 million that's in the book, unless there's an error.
You're talking about the revenue?
Yes.
Yeah, well, I can tell you it was zero before we took it. We had no revenue
I
coming
mean,
in.
it's not zero now; it's negative.
Yeah.
If you look at the revenue book, it's negative.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that it was zero in terms of the balancing of our investment versus our return.
Right.
I am saying that we were getting no return whatsoever prior to our taking over the zoo. That what Dr. Omari said about the money being diverted to spend more towards a plan towards moving it is 100% accurate.
The city has a whole lot of things that we got to work out, and
I
that's
agree.
and we just got to have the conversation. And even today, we still trying to find, the $2 million for the insurance that we just found out about.
Yeah, and just to follow up on that, I know that y'all are going through your deliberations, but just to give you a preview, the Department of Administration has been working all day to give you some more information of how we look at the multitude of challenges we have and cover those. So they do have a presentation to be delivered to you at I want to say a later time. I know that time is of the essence, but very soon here.
All right, thank you. Department of Information Technology.